Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Craig Paton. And I'm so happy that you said yes to be my interview guest today. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Thank you for asking, and thank you for the invite onto the podcast. I'm looking to be inspired here. I'm
Oh, yes.
very much looking forward to it.
Oh, thank you so much. And I read a little bit in your bio. You are one of the top HSE influencers. You have to explain how that is. And you have also a podcast where you talk about mental health. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yes, so from myself, I worked in construction for many years. Unfortunately, one of my friends was killed on site, an unfortunate accident, and it made me look at health and safety. So part of what I do is try and simplify health and safety for the men and speak to them on the level that they deserve to be spoken to. So I've got quite a good following. I've got a lot of nice people that appreciate the work that I do rather than it being something that's a senior management thing that I try and bring it down to the boys and try and make sure that the guys at the front line fully understand what's required of them in health and safety.
That's amazing. Thank you for explaining and sharing it with us. So, my first question is, what inspires you?
I think meeting this will sound silly, but meeting inspirational people inspires me. I think it's meeting people that can make me a better person. I think that's really important for me. And as a health and safety person, we do get a lot of people that come into your life, but it's finding the nice people and spending a bit of time with them. I think that inspires me to be a better person.
Yes, I totally understand. And you talked about people. Um, I'm sure you had coaches and mentors in your life. What was the best coach you ever had? Who? I mean,
The
who?
best coach, the best coach. I would need to say my parents, not in a professional sense, but my parents for bringing me up to be a good man and a good father and to treat everybody as equals and not look at someone via their job status. You look at everybody in the same way. It doesn't matter if you're a senior manager or a cleaner or a worker on the front line. You treat everybody the same. And there you go. I would say that's it. That is my inspiration as my mother and father.
Oh, this is the best answer. I think also you talked about can one say to treat everyone equally or with
Yes,
respect? Yes.
treat everyone with respect.
Mhm.
My dad had said to me years ago when I started in health and safety, he said, "Watch who you kick on the way up the ladder because you may meet them on the way back down." And I thought that was quite good. And I treat everybody the same. I treat everybody with respect and treat people the way you'd expect to be treated yourself.
Oh, yes, this is important and where we can orientate from or on that, yeah, treat everyone how you would like to be treated. Yes,
Yes.
with kindness and respect, and always see the good in other people, the best and their potential also. Wow, this is amazing. And how do you inspire other people?
I inspire other people by being as open and as honest as I can be. There is no secrets when it comes to me. I always tell my life story to anybody in the hope that it inspires somebody else. You mentioned the podcast earlier. That's something that I do in my spare time, just in case it resonates with somebody. It maybe gives somebody the tools and techniques that bring them out of a depression or a bad episode in their life. That's the way that I look at life, is to see if there's anything that I've experienced that I can pass on to somebody else and hopefully inspire somebody.
Yes, you inspire me at the moment. My mind is working, and I want to watch the replay immediately because there was so much. I have to re-listen to it and learn and grow as well, because with every episode and every person I meet, I grow into the new person, the new version of myself. So thank you again for saying yes. This is important. Also, you mentioned you are open, and this is to be open to what feels good. And this podcast is about having fun. You mentioned your own podcast in your spare time. And my next question is, what are your gifts and talents?
Gifts and talents.
Yeah.
Being a good father, that's a very good talent. Um, I'm I'm one of those people. I don't take myself too seriously. I like to smile. I like to be happy. I think I set out every morning to try and make one person smile and try and make somebody happy. And I achieve it every day because I like telling jokes. I like putting a smile on someone's face. And that's life's too short to be upset or sad. I spent years of my life in depression. It's too short. You know, we need to keep smiling, need to keep each other laughing, and that's what it's all about.
That's so true. And I would like to know, how do you maintain this attitude?
I think it's surrounding yourself with the best people. I think that's what it's all about. Previously, I had hundreds and hundreds of friends, so to speak. When I stopped drinking, once I got rid of the bad eggs, life became so much simpler, life became happier. I think that's it. The trick is to surround yourself with people that are proud of you and people that don't try and pull you back, and also trying to surround yourself with people that want you to succeed. That's important. And people that ultimately want to see you happy rather than bring you back and sit and fester with them. It's important to have people that are on your side.
Yes, that's true. And do you have an advice for someone how to sort out the people, when you make the decision to no longer surround yourself with people who tear you down or so? How do you do this?
I think for me, it's going off radar. I've always been a very sociable person. I like going to the football. I like going to the pub. I like enjoying myself and being out. If you go off the radar, you don't speak to anybody. You maybe refrain from sending a text message. Just go low key. Maybe take a few weeks or a few months to find yourself. Um, and you do notice that people tend to not message you as much, and it gets easier with time. Definitely gets easier with time, but it's important because you need to learn to love yourself, and then you can restart again.
Wow. And what do you do? So I understand you take a pause from social media also, or and you don't contact the people you don't want to speak to again. What do you do when they contact you?
I generally I associate certain people with bad times, do you know, and these people would love to, as I said, they would love to bring you back into the world that you were previously in. I think it's important to just distance yourself from these people. What I took up since I get rid of a lot of poisonous people is the likes of meditation, uh, going to bed early, just turning your phone off at night time so you aren't constantly looking at your phone. All of these things are great techniques for ways to deal with it. Everybody is the same. We all have mental health, whether it's good or bad. It's just trying to manage that and trying to keep yourself okay upstairs.
Yes. And what do people like about you?
Just a genuine person that really cares for people. Do you know, I would go out of my way to make somebody happy. I would go out of my way to make somebody feel special. Do you know, if I'm speaking to somebody, it's just them. It's just them in the room. It's just having that bit of respect, and it's treating people the way that you expect to be treated as well. And it's just being kind, being nice, and just being the person that you wanted to be when you were maybe 5, 10 years old. Nobody grows up wanting to be a health and safety guy. You grow up wanting to be a nice guy and a good father. That's these things that you tend to go back to when you're older. So I look at myself as a young boy for inspiration.
Okay. And what about telling the truth? Because you say, is there a contradiction when you have to tell people the truth? For example, they don't want to hear or they don't see it. Then how can you do this in a kind way?
I think it's if that is in your nature to not lie, you can't. I was always taught that if you don't lie, you can't get found out. So
Mhm.
you would not be telling lies, and they wouldn't come back to get you. Um, the way I usually see it, if I'm telling somebody some bad news, they would accept it because they know I'm a trustworthy person. I'm somebody that wouldn't lie to them, and I would always be somebody that looks out for their best interests. So if I had to tell them some bad news, they would appreciate that coming from somebody like myself rather than it being somebody that's maybe prone to telling lies or, a devious person as such.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. And what are your goals for 2024?
I have numerous goals for 2024. My son actually asked me what my ambition was for my life, and I said to him it was to be a good dad and raise him and his brother and sister to be good adults. That is my only goal in life, and that's quite spiritual. But it's to bring them up to a decent level to be good people, the same way my mum and dad did the same with me. I think if I look at personal goals, I could look at lots of things, but it ultimately comes back to being a good person. Do you know, that is the ultimate. If you're a good person and you're kind to people, things will come back to you in kind, and that's the trick. That's the art.
Yes, thank you so much. And you use the word ambition. Now, as you know, I'm not a native speaker in English, so I have to ask. I had in mind the word intention. So, people, when I ask people, what is your goal? Some of them said to me, I don't set goals anymore. I set intentions, and so I expected you to use the word intention as well. And what is for you the difference? Can you explain between ambition and intention?
An intention, I would say, an intention is more of a short-term goal. It's more of a it's more towards your character. So I would say my intention is to keep being a good guy and to keep making people happy. Whereas my goal would be something more tailored to your personal life and your ambition as a professional. Do you know, whether that was health and safety or whatever it may be. I would say that's the difference. You've got a small intention, whereas if you have a goal or an ambition, that's something that's going to take you up for a few days or a few years or whatever it may be.
Yeah, this is so it's ambition is rather is like the word purpose or so, a purpose for life. And
Yes.
ambition, what I see is the driving force in the word. It's like motivation a little bit when I ask you what motivates you to get up every day or so.
It's quite similar. I put on a post this morning on LinkedIn, and what I was saying in that is it's really important to find your why in life. It's that is your purpose. That is why you get out of bed in the morning. Things that get me out of bed in the morning is being a good person. It's making people laugh. It's putting a bit of sunshine into people's lives. But it's also, when I look at it, that's an intention. Whereas my goal and my ambition is to really focus on mental health and construction and try and get some traction when it comes to it. We get bogged down in bureaucracy in the UK, and I would really love to start scratching the surface when it comes to men's mental health in the construction industry. That's my why. That gets me out of bed, and that excites me. Um, I'm like a dog with a bone when it comes to these things, and it motivates me to keep going.
Oh wow, there's a book about that from Peggy McCall, by the way, The Dog and the Bone. I don't know the exact title, but it speaks from also motivation and how you reach your goals. This is amazing. Thank you so much. And I have one last question for you. It
Okay.
is, when people reach out to you after listening to this podcast episode, do you have a special offer for the Inspired Podcast community?
A special message for the podcast community,
Offer.
a
Offer or
special
services.
offer for services. I would just say I like to do things for free. If anybody wishes to come to me and they maybe have problems, by all means, just message me. There's nothing more important to me than passing on things that I know to other people in the hope that it may benefit them. I think if people charge you a lot of money to be a well-being guru or something like that, then it's not God's purpose. It's God's purpose for you to be as kind and as considerate as you are, and it doesn't cost anything. If anybody wishes to reach out to me, by all means, just message me, and I will get right back to you.
Wow, I love that so much. This is the best answer, you know. It was also in my intention to, whatever you like to offer, of course, you offer your time like you did for this podcast. So please reach out to Craig Paton and connect, because this is what the podcast is also about: connect people all around the world. Thank you so much for this
No problem.
interview, and see you in the next episode.